Hey Odessa, sorry I missed you the other day for lessons, but it's summertime, so that's going to happen. Your mom and I probably thought it'd be better that we just go ahead and not have lessons until school starts again, because I think both of us are probably going to have a lot of plans that are going to come up with vacations and everything. So I want to give a little bit of a lesson in preparation for some things that might be coming your way. Specifically, looking at what you might do if you got an electric guitar, if you got one sometime between now and when we were able to meet again. So I'll give you a few tips on what to do when and if you get an electric guitar. First of all, there's basically four major parts of the guitar: the guitar itself, the cord that plugs the guitar into the amplifier, and the power adapter. One of the first things I always do is I find all the knobs on the guitar and the amplifier and make sure they're all turned all the way down to zero even before I plug in the amplifier. On this guitar, there are three knobs. Sometimes there's one, sometimes there's two. The main one you want to watch for is the volume switch. You want to make sure that is turned all the way down to zero. The best way to tell is if you turn it counterclockwise until it stops. There may or may not be a little mark where it's lined up, but if you turn it all the way counterclockwise, that'll make it there. The other two are usually tone buttons, not as important, but I always turn everything down to its lowest setting just to be on the safe side. There also may be a little bit of a lever. This lever is actually to help you figure out whether you want kind of a dark tone or muffled tone or a very bright tone. All the way up would be a dark tone, all the way down would be a bright tone. For the purposes of plugging everything in, the position of that switch doesn't really matter. And then the amplifier usually has a whole lot of knobs on it. Specifically, you want to look for anything that might say gain or volume. So on this particular one, I have a gain, I have a volume, I have a tone, which is similar to the tone on the guitar. And then this is like the master volume. So it says master. Because for this one, I can plug in a guitar, and I can also plug in an auxiliary or microphone. So this master will turn both of these down. For this particular one, these will control the guitar, and this one controls everything else. So I would want to make sure I turn all of those two all the way down, those three all the way down. And again, the tone, it doesn't really matter. I usually set it about halfway. There may be some other knobs as well. You can go ahead and turn those all the way down as well if you'd like. It might be a good idea. Again, just get in the habit of turning everything down before you plug anything in. Now we plug it in. I'm not going to do a tutorial for that because I'm pretty sure you know how to plug things in. I will. Okay, the next step, once I've got the adapter plugged in, before I turn anything on, again, I'm going to go ahead and plug my cord into my amplifier and into my guitar. And the little plug for it's down here. Oh, by the way, this is what they call a bend bar. You may or may not have this on yours. I may show that in a later video or show you in lessons exactly what's that for. It's not really necessary. It's just kind of an extra little gadget that a lot of guitars have on them. Okay, so now I have my cord plugged in. It's always important to make sure it's plugged all the way down in both areas. Sometimes this feels like it's kind of plugged in, but if you see any silver or any brass, just go ahead and push that all the way in, make sure it snaps into place. Personally, at this point, before I'm ready to turn it on, but before I do, I will go back and double check, make sure all my knobs on the guitar and on the amplifier are turned down, just to make sure, and then I'll turn it on. The reason I turn everything down is you don't want to be surprised by an extremely loud noise. Also, it will keep you from damaging any of the equipment because you can over amplify and cause damage inside the amplifier or even maybe cause some damage inside the guitar themselves. So turning down is not just so that you don't make any loud sounds unexpectedly, but that it keeps your equipment in good operating condition. So now I turn my unit on, and again, the knobs may vary on what you have. A lot of them will have a tuner on it so that you can use the amplifier itself. I tend to use what we always use for the tuning, just a tuner that you've got external, because the amplifying tuners tend to not be as accurate and tend to be a little more difficult to figure out. So if you have an amplifier with a tuner on it, you're more than welcome to try to use it. But if it gets a little frustrating, just go back to the old way that we did with the acoustic guitar. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn up the volume. I'm going to turn up the gain about 1/4 of the way. I'm going to turn up the volume about 1/4 of the way, and the master volume 1/4 of the way. Then I'm going to go to my guitar, and I'm going to strum it and then adjust the volume to see where I might want to have it. So here we go. Okay, I've gotten to about 6 on this. So I'm going to turn this back down all the way to 0. I really don't want to go much above 5 before I hear sound, just to give me some room one way or the other to make it softer. So now I'm going to go back to my amplifier, and I'm going to turn it up about halfway, and the volume about halfway, and the master about halfway. Again, your dials may be a little bit differently, but you're looking for the ones that work with the volume, and it'll say master, volume, or gain. And this one may or may not be on it. So let's try that again. We strum, and then adjust. I'm starting to hear sound. And I've got it on about 6 or 7. So one more time, I'm going to take it down. And I'm going to pull up the gain about 3/4 of the way. That's about the, I guess 2 o'clock position if you know how to tell time with an analog clock. Same there, and same there. And one more time. Now that I'm getting sound out of it, I can adjust which ones I want. I would recommend that once you get sound, that you work with the master and the volume switch on the guitar. If you have a gain, what that does is it's going to make the microphones more sensitive. And the higher the gain is, the more chance you're going to have what they call feedback, which is that really high-pitched whine that you get from speakers sometimes. Well, that's pretty much it. Of course, the guitar plays the same as any other. And if you happen to get an electric before we have lessons again, then you'll have at least an idea of how to get started. And if you need anything more information, just let your mom know. She can text me and we can go from there. Thanks for watching, and hope you have fun over the summer vacation. And good luck with everything you got going on. Talk to you later. Bye.